Forgiveness, a gift for yourself. This is a three-part forgiveness process consisting of this introduction, a guided forgiveness exercise, and a little bit of homework to reprogram the mind with positive, uplifting energy. From the time we are born, our minds are looking out at the world and deciding who and what we are in relation to the people with whom we interact. We learn early on how to pick things up and let them go when we no longer need them. An early example is an infant with a bottle. As an infant, we grasp tightly to the bottle, but when we're full or the bottle is empty, we let it go. But when it comes to our emotions, we forget how natural this is, because few of our caretakers knew how to model this for us. This is especially true for men. Most men I've met are like me. They were taught early in life that, quote unquote, big boys don't cry. And maybe if we're old enough, we may have heard things like, children are to be seen but not heard. In teaching little boys that their emotions were not to be expressed, especially sadness, it taught us to ignore the natural signals of our mind and body and taught us to look for validation and approval outwardly. But this damaged our psyche because it took away the very normal, natural, and necessary expression of sorrow and sadness for us to be able to release our emotions and heal. I learned that it was important to forgive and that I was supposed to do it, but no one ever explained how to do it beyond saying the words. I wasn't taught how to forgive in any meaningful way. I was actually taught forgive, but never forget. This meant that any forgiveness I did was bound to be superficial only, because the only thing holding a powerful memory in place is the intensity of the emotion. And once you learn how to truly forgive someone who has hurt you, the memory will fade. We were taught, however, that holding on to that emotion would protect us from being hurt again, and this was a rational lie that we believed. Because the truth is that we are limited by the emotions we carry, and the world reflects back to us those limits in countless different ways. We have to have faith that by letting these energies go and embracing a new perspective of life, this is how we are protected. So I've learned that forgiveness is not something I do for someone else or need them to do for me. Forgiveness is something I do for myself. It frees me from a prison of my own making, because I am the only one who can feel my feelings. I am also the only one who suffers from holding on to anger, disappointments, frustration, shame, and hurt. By forgiving, it does not mean I condone the other person's behavior. It simply means that I have decided I no longer want to hold on to the pain of the past. I have learned through my own life experiences that because I bottled all of this up inside of me, instead of letting it go, these energies are then reflected to me in my relationships, and random people who come into my life, and the health of my body, and mostly my perspective of myself and what I can and cannot have. There are dreams of this earth we have yet to even imagine because of the limitations we carry. Sometimes we need to forgive someone else to release the pain we carry within us, that our minds connect to that person. And sometimes we need to forgive ourselves and let go of the embarrassment and shame of our own less than perfect actions. Our powerful imagination holds the key to forgiveness. Since scientists have proven that our mind does not know the difference between something real and imagined, it is not even necessary to tell someone you're forgiving them. If you feel you need an apology from someone in order to forgive them, you have the power to imagine that. If you feel you owe someone else an apology, remember it is you who carries the embarrassment or shame. The other person may or may not need the apology. I have apologized to people who had upset them more when I did so, because as they pointed out, I was just trying to make myself feel better. You don't have to upset someone else to feel better. You can do that on your own, and so can they. You also have the power to imagine them forgiving you. You have the power to imagine whatever you need to experience in order to heal. By taking responsibility for your own emotional energies, you also give others the opportunity to do the same. For those people who feel the need to please others, this can be a very freeing experience. Just be aware that there might be a bit of turbulence in your relationships once you change. Every change has a ripple effect, and some people may not be comfortable with the new you. They may have developed a comfort with you always being the one to take responsibility for any upset in the relationship. And when you stop doing it, it creates a new paradigm for them as well. I found once I stopped being that person, though, there was no way for me to go back to a more painful, frustrating reality. After you release all of these negative emotions, you will need to actively practice positive visualizations and allow positive emotions. Remember, nature abhors a vacuum. So if you don't fill your mind with new, uplifting beliefs, the operating system you have will continue to run the old program. You have to program your mind with what you want to believe. In preparation for the guided forgiveness exercise, you will need a pen or pencil and a sheet of paper. Yes, I know we live in the digital age, but doing this on paper has a spiritual and symbolic meaning that will be explained later. I also encourage you to decide now who it is you want to forgive. If this is your first forgiveness exercise, I recommend starting with one of your primary caretakers, whether it's one of your parents, grandparents, foster parents, or whoever you feel you have the most pain attached. This is the end of part 1. Go on to part 2.